But no, I woke up today and I waited a bit, and then some news came out at uh 12:45. It is now Tuesday, the 3rd of September at 1:55. Some news came out that Sam Docherty will be playing on Saturday. And I think that's the reason I waited, because I had to talk about it today. So we're here. Welcome to episode 4 of Footy and Stuff. Uh let's jump into it. Let's just jump straight into it. So this pod was obviously going to be set out differently because there were no games on the weekend, whatnot. I was going to do an Australian review, then some news, and then quiz as usual, final predictions and whatnot. But this has happened, so I feel like I now have to start with the news. Start with Doc and just seep into everything else and then do the Australian review. I think that's how I have to do it. So let's do that, I think. Where do we start with it? Um, I'm over the moon. It may not seem as much like that because I think a lot happened an hour ago, so I kind of had the chance to digest it a little bit. I now understand that he's playing and this is a thing that's happening. And I can move forth with that information and actually analyze it with a level head rather than just sit there and let my jaw hit the floor and not know what to do with it. So, first things first, this is enormous from a club morale standpoint. The confidence of the group, the togetherness of the group going into an away final where the form hasn't particularly been the best over the last, say, 6 weeks. This is massive because Doc is the heart and soul of the club, quite clearly. Um, that is first things first. No one can question this decision from that standpoint at all. If you do, you've lost your marbles. You're just a hater if you question this from a morale standpoint. Because if that is the key motivation, you make this decision 1,000 times out of 1,000. But then you look at the injury side of it, and that's where the questions start to come in. I personally don't think he's not ready. I don't think he's not ready. I don't think he'd risk himself. This guy is like, how old is he? 31, 30. This guy is not stupid. He's done this 3 times. He'll know his body best and he'll know when he's ready to come back. And I don't think he'd risk himself for the sake of the team if he didn't know he was ready. As I'm pretty sure he said this like probably 6 weeks ago, 7 weeks ago, that if he was allowed to, he would have played back then. So he's felt ready for weeks. So I have no doubt that this is the right move from that standpoint as well, like a pure injury standpoint. Because as I said, he's not stupid. I don't think he's stupid, and he cares about the club. And I don't think he would um, put his name up for that spot in such an important game without being ready for it. The question for me is the actual football side of it. So, like, not having played for 6 months, what does it do to be thrust into such a, what's the word I'm looking for? Finals like atmosphere. It's finals like atmosphere. So to be thrust into that sort of type of game could be difficult, of course. I'm not expecting him to set the world on fire, but ultimately he's coming in for that for a player in that sort of 20 to 23 range. And I just don't think a player of Doc's quality, and he's a quality player, is going to perform any worse than a player in that range. In fact, I think he's going to perform a lot better than that. Um, because he's a veteran. He's got that level of experience that you can't just you can't manufacture in a player. He's been around for that long that he he's ready. He's ready. He's ready. Maybe I'm convincing myself because he's my favorite player, but he's ready. He's ready. I just don't think I can't see why they would do this if they weren't 100% convinced he's ready. So yeah, he's playing. Um, we'll see how it goes. I've been waffling about this for about 5 minutes, and I actually don't know what I've said. That's the problem. Um, because it's a very I'm very emotionally invested in this uh occurrence, if you want to say. The next question with Doc is where does he actually play? That's the next question because he can play everywhere. So for that, you have to look at the last team and sort of dissect it that way. So the players that'll come in, we think for sure, Charlie, Harry, McGovern, Zach Williams, and Doc now. Tom DeConing's got a bit of a question mark as far as I'm aware, but if he comes in, I think it's a straight swap for Pitto. I don't think we're going to play two rucks in Brisbane. So Tom comes in for Pitto. We don't have to look at that. Charlie and Harry come in. We move Brody Kemp back, and then I think Lewis Young is out. I think Matt Owes, we know he's out. I think Jack Carroll will go. And then two of the bench that is listed there, which is Jackson Binns, Cooper Ward, Orazio, and Corey Durden. Whatever happens there, whatever. Because I think any two of those four, I'm not really batting an eyelid. I want Cooper Lord to stay. I think that's the one of the four that I'd be a bit like, because I think he was the best of those four. Jackson Binns was very good as well, so I'd like him to play, but obviously he can't play everyone. So is what it is. But I think Doc comes in now. Zach Williams will play forward. So that's one you have to account for there. Gov obviously goes back. Brody Kemp swings back. And I think where he fits ends up being that sort of obviously he's not Matthew Cottrell because he doesn't have the same speed or pressure, but he brings other qualities. But I think that sort of role, so that third wingman, half forward flank, I think that's where he'll land. And he played a lot of time there last year. So, yeah, I think that's where he'll play. But we'll learn more about that throughout the week. Doc's playing.